Hello everybody, Steve Griffiths here, developer of the MTPredictor software program. In today's MTPredictor video, I'd like to take a look at the longer term position of the US stock markets. But first we have to look at our risk disclaimer and remind you that all examples in these videos should be considered as hypothetical. No trades are actually taken, they're just shown for illustration and training purposes only. Remind you there's a risk of loss in trading and investing. Put another way, all traders know and understand, but more importantly accept that losses can and will unfold. It doesn't matter what trading approach you take, there always will be losing trades. It's important to always understand and accept that. Right, I want to start off by looking at a front month continuous contract of the ES and have a look at see what's going on up here. If you all remember, going back to some previous videos, we looked at this being the previous support of that pivot as a potential DP support. Remember, we looked at that ages ago and had that as a potential support zone off which the market may well rally. And as you can see, that's indeed what's happened. The market has rallied nicely off there. So let's have a look and see what what's happened since. Well, we also suggested that as the market was coming in off there, I'll just leave that that weekly support in there actually. Sorry about that. I'll just put that back in to see how it looks on the daily chart. So there you see the support came in. So what we're looking at is whether this high back in February was a major high. And what we're saying is if this was a major high and the market came down here to support, what we're looking for is first and foremost to see whether there's going to be an ABC rally up here. If there was, this could then be a corrective ABC, which we could then be putting in a high to then get a continued decline down to new lows. We also suggested that if the market didn't do that, the next area of resistance would be up there. But we'll have a look at that in a minute. So let's have a look at what this pattern is going up here. Well, it's not that clear on a daily chart, but it does look a bit as if this was a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, up to a wave 5, to then complete a large degree wave A, then a minor ABC. Do you see that in there? A, B, C, to create a wave B, and then a wave C swing. If I go down to a slightly shorter time frame chart, this is a little bit easier to see. So I'm just going to go down to an 8-hourly chart, and then what I'll do now is I'll put on our larger degree pivots, and it just makes that a little bit clearer. So if I put on a large degree pivot, can you see the pattern a lot clearer? And what we're looking at is there's our major support. So can you now see the A, B, C rally coming up there? Even clearer if I right mouse click over this high and do edit wave major in the software, you can see it perfectly there. So that's what we're looking at. We're looking at to see whether this rally up here has been unfolding as an ABC correction. As you can see, that's what's unfolded, and you can see now, this is why I'm doing the video now, you can see how we've come into the minimum wave C WPT, or Fibonacci cluster of Fibonacci ratios, where the minimum wave C is potentially could end. So this is why it's very interesting, and the ES is a very interesting position now to see whether this high stays intact. If this high stays intact and the market carries on down, then we could get a continued decline. The first area of support would be off the wave B, which would be down here. So the first area of support would be down at the 2,700 level. You see down here. So that could be a potentially large decline. If that's taken out, well then we could see a move to new lows here, so that could be a very significant pivot high coming in here. Obviously if this is taken out now and that high is taken out, well then as I said before, if I go to the daily chart, the next area of resistance is if I zoom out a bit and I do a DP off this high here. I've said for a while that if the market now carries on up and takes these highs out here, then we could get a run up into this DP resistance, and this could be a real sucker play where the banks and the larger institutions then dump stocks ready for then a sharp move back down again. So this is going to be a very interesting pivot here to see what indeed is happening, to see whether we do get an ABC correction into here and we start to come down as shown by our 8-hourly chart like that. There's the ABC correction, you can see it really clearly there, ABC, to see whether the decline does carry on down, and if it does, well this is the next area of potential support, or whether we now get a rally. And if we do get a rally and this is taken out, well then as I said, the next area of resistance is right the way up here. So quite an important pivotal high or pivot here on the ES. The reason I've done this video today is because if I look at some of the other markets, for example the NQ, this is at a really interesting position because this is a continuous contract of the NQ. And now if I do our DP resistance off here, look where the market has got to. The market has actually made new highs here. Do you see that? We've actually got up to new highs above the previous high, but look where we've tagged. We've just gone into and just clipped this major resistance area here. So this is why I think this is very interesting to do this video today, is that the NQ has just about reached its major DP resistance up there on a break to new highs, and the ES has also reached its minimum wave C WPT for a potential ABC correction up here. So it's going to be a very interesting time now to see what the market does over the next few days and weeks ahead, to see whether this high stays intact and we get a continued decline, or whether this is then taken out, then a continued rally to this level. But at the moment it does look as if resistance is coming on the NQ, and we are at an area where we could get a high on the ES. So the US stock markets are at a very interesting position at the moment. So we'll see what happens over the next few weeks and months.